Broadcast Center, and we are graced with somebody very famous when it comes to the world of street racing from the Street Outlaw Show on the Discovery Channel. Big Chief is known by Justin Scheer, and Justin, it's an honor to have you here, and I've watched you as you walk through the pits and everything. Everybody's shocked to see you here, but you know, racing's it's in your blood, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. It's the same thing. Like, I'm walking around here. I haven't been to an RC race before, so walking around here trying to figure out what it's like, but it's literally exactly like we started the street racing deal. It's in an industrial park. You line up both sides. Everybody's got their stuff. It's all everybody brought it. This wasn't here before today, and it won't be here tomorrow.
Right.
It's the same thing. Like 1320 videos here. It's just like cash days. You know what I mean? With the big cars in the street, it's the same thing. You got a bunch of guys here who are serious about it, and they're trying to go faster than the next guy and win a bunch of money.
Well, that's exactly what it is. When you started and you found your love for street racing and things like that, did you ever imagine it would turn into where it's taken you in your life?
Oh yeah, no, I always knew I was famous. Always, just nobody else figured it out.
Nobody else knew it.
It took them a while. It took them a while to come around, but they're starting to get it now. Heck no, we had no idea. I was telling those guys earlier on the starting line. I was like, they were saying that 1320 guys were here, and they're like, man, we didn't even know this was going on or that it was a thing. And I was like, that's exactly what they said when they were at our first races, when they went to cash days, and they were like, we can't believe this actually happens. Like, people actually do this. You set up in an industrial park and you race all night for a bunch of money. So, but look where we are now from that. You know what I mean? So this hobby and what you guys are doing here, the energy behind it, there's no telling. You know what I mean? There's no ceiling on this. The passion is here. You can see it when you walk up. As soon as you meet these people, you can tell they are so passionate about RC drag racing. And as long as they're passionate about it and you guys are passionate about it, everybody surrounding it, there's so much energy here. As long as that stays, eventually the whole world will know how cool RC drag racing is.
And that's always been our goal in our industry, is to try to expose it to more people in it. And we struggle, but having the video guys here and you here, it kind of legitimizes it for us that have been in the industry for a long time. And it's great to hear those words that you can see the passion in us like you have in your street racing.
Oh yeah, and what's weird is that, like, that wasn't planned. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know 1320 was going to be here. They didn't know I was going to be here.
Sure.
Heck, I didn't even know I was going to be here till yesterday. So, it's just the way it worked out. But, this is like my first weekend off filming in months, and this is where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like,
it's in your heart and soul, isn't it, racing?
If there's people racing in an industrial park for money, I want to be there. It doesn't matter what they're racing. I want to be there.
About your show and everything, what's the hardest part of doing that life and that show and things like that for our viewers? What is
the hardest part is the time.
Yeah.
You have to put so much time, and you have no idea if it's ever going to pay off. You know what I mean? You're just working on it nonstop, and your passion overgrows your wallet and everything else, and you're constantly putting time in, and you have no idea if you're ever going to get anything out of it. But I just feel like if you do it and you put the time in and you stay passionate about it, no matter what, no matter who shows up, if 1320 ain't there, if Big Chief isn't there, it doesn't matter. You still do it because you love it.
Sure.
Eventually, it will pay off. Someone will notice it, and someone will show up, and they'll pay you to do it.
As you continue your life in a full sport racing, and now you're into RC. I know you got your kids into it and stuff like that. Was talking over to you when you were, Tim Smith's been a big help to you, and you were talking about, when you learned how to TIG weld earlier, and now you're learning how to solder, and you stayed up all night learning how to solder and stuff like that. It's in your blood, the racing. You want to learn what you can and enjoy it.
Yeah, anytime, like, I'm sitting out in the street and I'm testing that DR10 that we got, I'm testing it every night, and making hits and making changes, and then you realize that, you want to try this piece or that piece, but you got to solder it in, and it's just like the racing deal. Like, when I realized I wanted to go turbo and I wanted to have power adders, but you had to TIG weld it in, you know what I mean? Like, same thing, you just set up with the deal and you learn how to do it. You watch a bunch of YouTube videos, you mess it up 3 or 4 times, and then before you know it, you're back out on the street, you're making hits, you're getting faster. It's literally the same thing. It's just, the only difference is the scale. You know what I mean? And it doesn't cost near as much, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely that, but it's the same frustration and things that you have in the full scale racing. You know, we want to go fast. We want to cut the fastest light and be the first at the end and everything. So it definitely has that same intensity.
There's no doubt about it. The instant frustration or instant gratification is there in the RC drag racing, just like in real drag racing. Like I say real drag racing, just like in full-size cars, because clearly this is real drag racing AF. Well, like there's no doubt about it. There's nothing not real drag racing about this, but in the full-size cars, same thing. You let go of the button, and you instantly know if it's going to be a good one or a bad one. It's just you're standing in the street, you grab the button, and you instantly know if it's a good one or not. You know, it's what I love.
And a lot of that feeling we've had racers express here, you know, right at the line. You know, they knew if they were going to have it, if they're going to not. Tim talked when he was in here about, you know, the burnouts and getting just the right type of burnout on our cars, you know, to make sure that they're going to get the best start.
Oh, yeah, and just being here for a short time, I'm learning so much. Like you hear the guys, they're doing their burnout, and you're listening for that, you know, that bark of the tire, you know, to know that you're ready to go. Same thing in the big cars. Like when I pull out of the burnout, and it's rare, and it's in high gear, and it's 200 mile an hour, and I let off. If it goes skirt, I know we're fitting to make one. You know what I mean? Same thing up there. When they're doing the burnout, the car is sitting there making that sound, you can tell the guys are like, oh, yeah, we're fitting to rotate Earth, you know? So it's the same thing, dude. I love it. I'm so happy I got a chance to come up here and watch it because it's so much fun standing on the starting line.
Well, it's really a pleasure to have you to spend time. Obviously, like you said, you know, the time is the biggest challenge for you to find time and to be able to do this. And to hear that you're getting your kids into it and sharing with your kids the passion that we all have for racing, that's pretty special.
Oh, yeah, they're learning more about drag racing than just the cars and the money and the parts. They're also learning, like, the bigger parts of drag racing as far as like doing it for a living that I never got to learn. There was no way for me to learn that stuff until I did it and messed it up. But now they're learning it. Somebody sends them a part and they try it and they do a review on it. And if it works, cool. Well, then what if somebody sends them another part that's the same part? You know what I mean? So I talked to them. I'm like, so now you got to figure it out. You know, you know, Undercover sent you a wheelie bar, you know what I mean, to try. And now this guy sends you a wheelie bar. What are you going to do? You know, you got to make those decisions. And they're learning. It's awesome. Everything about it's awesome. It really gives you a head start into a drag racing career later.
I've been involved in RC for 30 years, had a shop and a track back in Wisconsin and everything, and I've seen the benefits of what it gives to kids. My daughters have grown up in it, and in the day when everybody's on computers and their phones, they lose the mechanical skills of holding wrenches and working on gears and tires, and it really does teach them the generals of that and builds a passion for racing.
Yeah, and they get that instant thing. They get that. They work all night on it in the garage, or they work, you know, 20, 30 minutes putting a new part on, and they go out there and they get to hit the button and they get to see it, and they get that feeling of it was worth it, or it wasn't, or it didn't work, or you got to work harder. And having that little GNSS thing so you can see the ET, man, that's like, you know what I mean? They get it quick, and then they're hooked. They don't want to stop. They want to make that number fall every time. So, no, it's awesome. I love it. I can't get enough of it right now. I've probably got, of course, I've been into RC cars forever. I probably got 80 or 90 RC cars in total, but I've already got 3 or 4 drag cars. I plan on buying 3 or 4 while I'm here. Like, that's just what I do. I don't know. We can't get enough of it.
Oh, that's awesome, and it's good that your passion for real racing has translated this, and you.
Oh, this is real racing.
Well, you're right. It is. There's no question about it.
Everybody keeps saying that, and I know it's not a dig or anything. It's just, you know, it's hard to figure out the name that defines the two. You know, from like the full scale cars to this, because I said it earlier and I caught myself and I felt like a jerk because I said, you know, and we're real racing or real cars. Dude, I'm standing up there. This is real racing.
There's no question.
This is real racing for real money. There's no doubt about it. So I got to come up with a different way to say that.
Well, the more you're in it, you will, and
yeah, exactly,
you know, it'll be the other side of your racing life.
Yep, yeah, definitely. I'm probably never going to go anywhere without taking my RC car with me.
Absolutely. People, your friends are going to, what is this? And you just wait a minute. Let me show you.
Yeah, put some money on it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Throw it down on a direct strip after you made your pass and see where it goes and see who's got to.
Yeah, because we race just like this, you know.
Yep.
When we're done the next day, none of it's there. Nobody even knows we were there. Same thing with this deal, you know what I mean? Tomorrow, Monday morning, this place will just be another parking lot.
Oh, exactly, with a few burnout strips and
Exactly.
everything that weren't here.
That's the point. That's all you leave behind.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to be here. I'm sure our viewers here really loved it, and I'm sure it's going to be a video that everybody watches to hear somebody who runs big cars, races now in our world of racing. We really appreciate your time.
Hell yeah. Thank you, brother.
All right. Nice to meet you very much. Big Chief spent a little time here with us on liverc.com at the 2021 Super Chips race here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Great to hear about his world of racing, how it translates to our world of racing. They're two different scales, but they're absolutely the same, carried by the same passion and love we have for racing. So thank you very much.